It's about to go down.
Burning your ears with another all-killer and no-filler episode of the best motorsports radio on the planet. It's the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. With your host, Jim Beaver.
Sliding trophy trucks, jumping razors, and dropping the mic at events across the country.
Amy Hood.
What's up, guys? I'm a professional fun haver, dirt bike rider, and monster truck driver.
With support from Polaris RZR, General Tire, Subaru, and Dirtfish. Hang on tight, strap in, and get ready to smoke some tires and lay some roost. Here's the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other. Jim Beaver.
Good morning. What is going on? Jim Beaver here with the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Another week, another edition of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. I like to call it Death, Taxes, and the Down and Dirty Radio Show. That is right. We are here. It is another week, and we've got a blockbuster guest lined up today. My man, the professional fun haver, Vaughn Gittin Jr. Been a while since we caught up with Vaughn. I think I'm going to have to look back. Might have been the start of the year at some point we had him, maybe right around King of the Hammer time. But yeah, it's been a while, so always fun to have Vaughn on the show. I mean, this is one of those dudes, you never know where the interview is going to go. He does so much. He's in off-road with Ultra 4 now, Formula D. He does his fun having. We got SEMA coming up. He is always there at Ford out front. So definitely stoked to have my boy Vaughn Gittin Jr. on the line. It's going to be a great interview. That's coming up hour number 2. Hour number 1, though, we have one of the young guns of off-road, first time he's ever been on this show, Mr. Christian Sourapas. You know his dad, Steve Sourapas, dude, is an off-road desert racing legend, won the Baja 1000 overall in a Class 10 car back in the day. But anyways, we've got Christian Sourapas. He just won at the Laughlin Desert Classic, so he's going to be on the line to talk about his very first ever trick truck win, a.k.a. Trophy Truck and Score Trick Truck and Best in the Desert. He's going to be on the line today talking about that. We also have Monster Energy Cup to talk about. Yes, that happened in Las Vegas. Yes, shenanigans did ensue. Not only that, obviously Laughlin, Best in the Desert. We got Supercross, NHRA. My boy Steve Torrance is on a tear there. We got a ton to talk about today. Hang tight, strap in. It's going to be one hell of a show, and we will be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RZRLife to share your story. Anywhere is possible. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire's wide variety of tires for whatever it is that you drive. Whether you're looking for off-road capability balanced with impressive on-road performance or ultra-high performance offering all-season traction designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has what you need to get where you're going. General Tire, providing anywhere is possible with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
And we are back here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, kicking things off. And, in the intro, I had said, death, taxes, and the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Well, truth be told, I actually just finally got around to paying my taxes for this year. Got an extension, all legal, right? But I don't know about you guys, but is there something that makes you feel like uber American about paying your taxes? Like, I don't know if it's something I tell myself just to ease the pain of sending a check to the federal government, but I always feel like I'm America. You know what I mean? I send that check. It's like, America, I belong here. I pay my taxes. I don't know. There's just something about it. I think it's just something I tell myself that eases the pain of sending that check in the mail. But I don't know. I'd love to hear from you guys. You feel like uber American on the day you send your check in, or are you just like pissed off? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just trying to ease the burden or ease the pain in my mind somehow, like tell myself stories, but whatever. It was, it was definitely, nice to get that off my back anyways. But moving on, actually, we broke this news a couple of weeks ago. On the website and on social media. Now, there's been a press release issued. It is out in the open. I think Racer Magazine picked it up. Score International's picked it up. I will say, hand in the air. You can't see it, but my hand is in the air. Yes, us. We broke the news that Alexander Rossi, that is right, the Indy 500 champion, 100th anniversary Indy 500 champion. I don't know that it makes a difference, but I don't know. If you're going to win one, I think the 100th anniversary is the one to win. Anyways, he is racing the Baja 1000. That is right. We broke the news. So I'm just saying, like, if there's a lot of people that break news and this and that, but we kind of tend to have an in on these off-road, and these motorsports storylines. So might want to check out our website and our social media once in a while. If that's not a good enough self-promoting plug, I don't know what is. But yes, Alexander Rossi is going to be racing the Baja 1000. He is teaming with Johnny Campbell, my good friend Pat Daly. He's been a guest on here as well. And Jeff Proctor, who has also been on a guest here. They will be racing on General Tires. Got to slide that grabber plug in there. So Rossi ain't going to get any flats, right? But no, he will be teaming those three in, I call it 7,200. That's what it is in Best in the Desert. It's Class 7, I believe, in score. In the factory Honda Ridgeline. So it's a rad truck. Won a lot of races. That class is kind of an interesting class. It was really big at one point. 6,100 has kind of taken over, and it's pulled some entries out of there, and guys have now gone to race 6,100 instead of 7,200. But this truck is definitely on point. It's got actually, I think, a modified IndyCar engine of sorts, or maybe an modified IMSA engine of sorts in it. I don't know. It's something that was like in their road racing or in their IndyCar programs, and they developed it for 7200. It's a 6-cylinder, high-strung. It's got a sequential gearbox in it. I think Rossi's going to take to this thing it's going to be. I think he's going to be a rocket. I know there's some photos out and some video. I think that if you follow the right accounts, it cycled through social media. But Rossi definitely, the dude has been out testing, it seems, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens at the Baja 1000 this year. I mean, he joins a list of Indy 500 former Indy 500 champs that have raced Baja. I don't have the full list offhand. I think Ryan Hunter-Reay's done it in the past. Trying to think, obviously Parnelli Jones. There's some amazing drivers that have, See, and I get mixed up on who's actually won the Indy 500 and what IndyCar drivers have raced in off-road. Because, I mean, guys like Paul Tracy, who arguably won the Indy 500, he was kind of screwed out of that one. He's raced off-road before. I mean, the Groff brothers, I remember when Marty Fiocca, and it had Robbie Groff, and his brother, they teamed up and raced a Class 1 car in Best in the Desert and in Score. So they've been involved. I mean, gosh, the list goes on. I mean, Rick Mears, how do you not talk about the Mears family? I mean, Rick Mears, one of the greatest IndyCar drivers ever, and Rick Mears got his start in off-road and was dominant in off-road before moving to IndyCars. So, Rick Mears, you want to talk about guys like Jimmy Johnson and Robbie Gordon who made the transition. Rick Mears, he was the dude, right? He was the first one there ever. I don't want to say the first one ever because obviously he had Parnelli Jones. He was more IndyCar and then transitioned to off-road later in his career. So, so I guess Parnelli did it backwards, like I think off-road was Parnelli's kind of swan song, so he'd already done all his open wheel racing at that point, and then his swan song was off-road, and so some of these other guys used off-road as a stepping stone. Rick Mears was definitely one of those. Always cool to kind of talk about that. I know I've had some conversations. We got Chris Leone calling in the next segment here. We're going to dissect Monster Energy Cup, but we were talking about the NASCAR Truck Series, and that was all formed by off-road guys. And to be honest with you, I think in retrospect they kind of shot themselves in the foot because They made these trucks to go NASCAR racing, and then all of a sudden the manufacturers pulled all their money out of off-road and then went to NASCAR with their money, and it kind of actually hurt the off-road industry by them doing it in a roundabout way. But yeah, I mean, gosh, you talk about guys like McCachran, Dave Ashley, Walker Evans. I think Vessels may have driven one. Ricky Johnson. We had him on last week, so there's a list. I think we're going to do a story this offseason for the website on the history of the NASCAR Truck Series and interview a bunch of off-road guys and stuff like that. I think it should be really, really good. So looking forward to doing that. But yeah, circling back, somehow we get on these crazy rants and tangents on this show, and you never know where the hell the conversation's going to go. Alexander Rossi will be racing the Baja 1000 this year. So definitely looking forward to seeing Rossi behind the wheel down there in Ensenada and wheeling that 7200 truck. I don't know. I'm going to have to reach out to Proctor and those boys and see how things are going to split, how the driving split's going to work, where they're going to want to get Rossi behind the wheel at some point. You never know if does he start the race so all the cameras see him? Does he finish the race so he's in there when it goes across the checkered flag? Does he run somewhere in the middle section? He's new to Baja. You don't necessarily want him running the last section because you want your more experienced drivers to run at night. So should be interesting the way they play this strategy, and I don't know that you necessarily want to start Rossi either. Because going out of Ensenada is crazy, man. I've always said the first 20, 30 miles of Baja, whether it be the 500 or the 1,000, it's kind of survival. I don't want to say survival, but a lot of stuff happens, especially running out down the canal through the drainage system there in Ensenada out into the desert. Like there's booby traps and there's people and there's carnage and there's chaos. Like, I don't want to call Rossi a rookie, but he's a Baja rookie. You don't want to start a guy like that and throw him to the wolves right away. Like, I think it's easier for him to get behind the seat out on the course somewhere, maybe, a couple 100 miles in where, you don't have to worry about quite as many people, and he can just get and settle in. And, and there's not a lot of these, all these exterior factors that come into play. You know what I mean? He's a guy who races Indy cars, and you concentrate strictly on the race and what's in front of you. And racing off-road in Baja, especially the start of the Baja 500, you're not only concentrating on the race and what's in front of you, you're also concentrating on all these exterior factors because stuff's coming at you. There's booby traps. There's all this other stuff. And I don't know that you want to put a guy like Rossi through that right away. So I'm predicting he's going to run the second stint. I don't know who's going to start, but I think Alexander Rossi is going to jump in the second stint in this truck because they'll be doing 4 stints, probably a couple 100 miles a piece. So that is my prediction. Alexander Rossi will run the second stint. We'll reach out to the boys at the Honda off-road team and see what we can come up with. But that is my predictions. Anyways, we got a lot of off-road to talk about today. Also some NHRA, Supercross. We might talk a little bit of IMSA. We got Formula D. We got a lot to talk about today. It's going to be a good show. Chris Leone coming up next. We're going to talk Monster Energy Cup. You got any questions? At JimBeaver15 on Twitter. All right, we are going to take a short break. We'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZ, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally. Whether you're looking for a tire that balances high performance, responsiveness, and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in wet and dry conditions, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the all-new G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, cruising with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. And it is Jim Beaver here, and I got to tell you guys, if you are in need of some auto parts, you're paying way too much if you're doing it locally. Ever since I discovered GoParts.com, I'm saving a ton of money on parts, and believe me, you know, I got a lot of race programs and a lot of shenanigans going on. I go through a lot of auto parts. Now you're thinking, Jim, they're online. How's the customer service? Well, I had the same concerns until I used them, and believe me when I tell you, the service is second to none. In fact, 9 out of 10 customers polled said they would not only use Go Parts again, they'd recommend Go Parts to their friends, family, and even their enemies. Hey, look, I've been around this for more than a decade, so, you know, I know when somebody knows what they're doing, and Go Parts definitely does. Go Parts, this is why we wrench. That's go-parts.com, go-parts.com. Checking them out, you'll be glad you did. And I know I just bought a Mini Cooper. Yeah, no joke. Just bought a Mini Cooper for $1,500, and I'm really, really stoked on this little Mini Cooper. It's an 07 Mini Cooper. Welcome to the line, Chris.
How's it going, Jim?
Oh, good. Just so all you listening in know, Chris Leone, the media manager for the Down and Dirty Radio Show on the website, is joining me. I was just telling them about this Mini Cooper that I bought that I'm probably going to do some autocrossing with or something. I don't know. It's a turbocharged Mini Cooper with a stick, and I've just been using Go Parts to order a bunch of parts. It's been kind of fun. I don't have to go and chase them. I just literally go click them. Put them in my cart, boom, 2 days later, they're here at my door, and I got this car up and running, ready to go autocrossing this winter. So it should be...
Oh, man, that's going to be a fun winter.
Yeah, it should be a ton of fun. But before we get too far down that rabbit hole, we got to talk some Monster Energy Cup. This is the big one every year. And, I was just thinking, Chris, we haven't even talked about it for the website yet, but I was just looking. I think Red Bull Straight Rhythm is like this weekend maybe. And I'm like, holy crap, how did I miss Red Bull Straight Rhythm? Is it this weekend or next weekend or something? But I'm like, man, I forgot because that and Monster Energy Cup go hand in hand. And I'm like, totally dropped the ball on Straight Rhythm. I forgot that was even happening.
Yeah, no worries. Believe me, we will have the same type of coverage for Straight Rhythm that we did for Monster Energy Cup, MX of Nations, and throughout the whole Supercross and Pro Motocross seasons. I mean, it's funny. October is such a great month for two-wheel racing. Obviously Supercross wraps up the regular season back in May, and Pro Motocross is done, and then you have September that's just kind of got nothing going on, and you have a little bit of silly season stuff. I mean, I know Cooper Webb announced his new deal. We found out about Joey Savacci moving up, but then, suddenly, boom, 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 MX of Nations, Monster Energy Cup, Red Bull Straight Rhythm, and then you were just right back into it. And then it just gets all pulled back away from you until Anaheim won. So it's, it's kind of a huge tease this month of October, but, hey, if you need something to watch other than playoff baseball, there's nothing better than all of these awesome, awesome two-wheel events.
Yeah, playoff baseball, got hockey season starting, NBA starting. There's all kinds of crap going on. But, yeah, talking about that, I love MX of Nations is fun just because it's something completely different. Straight Rhythm is exactly the same way, something completely different. But there's something about Energy Cup because – one, there's $1 million on the line, so you never know what's going to happen. Guys ride elbows out. They're rough on each other because there's no points. There's no, what I mean? It's, you're either going to win or lose, and so it's all on the line there. So I love that. But what even more I like is it gives us a window into what's going to happen in 2019. It's like our first real glimpse. I mean, it's like you've got all this silly season, and then you've got Energy Cup, and so it's like, some of the rumors tend to go away. And like I know, there's been a couple things here. I mean, obviously, we'll talk about, the main events here in a minute, but one guy that really stood out through watching this, and I honestly went, whoa, where did this guy come from, is Chad Reed. And we all know Chad Reed is a legend. I mean, he's one of the greatest of all time. Nobody's going to argue that. But, I mean, it's safe to say he's on the downhill slide of his career. And nobody's going to argue that, not even Chad. But this dude, Chris, it was like, whoa, wait, where did Reed come from? This is the Reed we saw 5 years ago. Like, this dude, obviously, he's got a new deal. He's got a new bike. But I was really impressed with Chad Reed.
Yeah, and, a lot of people had the same things to say about him when he rode Ironman to finish off the Pro Motocross season for Suzuki and JGR. Reed has always been a great guy to watch. Obviously, he is a record holder in Supercross for, I believe it's finals appearances. You know, he's always been one of the best riders in the sport and just a legendary rider. But you know how it goes sometimes. You have those guys who they may be on, you know, the back end of their career, and that, you know, but sometimes you have this one last little burst of just success, and it seems like we're getting that with Chad Reed on the JGR Suzukis instead of just having to ride his privateer deal for Supercross only. And I mean, honestly, seeing Chad Reed ride as a privateer has been inspiring. You know, seeing what he's been able to do, just kind of working on his own and not having the same kind of factory backing that he used to have way back in the day. You know, it's been amazing to watch him do that, but seeing him get another factory shot with JGR MX and the Suzukis and, you know, alongside some of those riders, even if you just want to term him an injury fill-in and, you know, we don't necessarily know what's going on for 2019, it has been awesome to see him towards the front of the pack on a bike that's not just, you know, white because it doesn't have factory backing.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, that's one thing I love about Chad. There's a lot of guys that are legends, and for one reason or another, they step away. I mean, Velopoto did. Obviously, we'll talk about him coming back to Energy Cup. Dungey did, and they went out on top, and they went out on their own terms. I mean, Dungey had accomplished everything he wanted to. He wanted to start a family. He wanted to spend more time at home. I can understand that. Chad Reed, you know, he it's safe to say he's not going out on top, you know, at the top of his game. But here's a guy who has proved that he's just in it for the love of the sport. And to me, like, a guy that's willing to do that, you know what I mean? Like, man, he has earned so much respect, I think, the last 3 or 4 years with the way he's handled himself and, you know, and just the way he's approached to, you know, the end part of his career.
I agree. I mean, and it's great to see guys like that who stick around as long as they can, but, you know, don't necessarily don't make a fool of themselves by sticking around for too long and just riding around towards the back. You know, I mean, Chad Reed is still competitive. You can still get a top 10 points finish out of Chad Reed. You know, I think there are podiums left in him. I think there are still, you know, a lot of decent finishes left in him. You know, what he's shown on the Suzuki, I think is, you know, proof of that. You know, so he's not by any means overstaying his welcome. And even if he is still just riding for the love of the sport, you know, he's got enough left in the tank that he's not going to do any disservice to his amazing legacy by sticking around.
Yeah, agreed. Well, I'm already looking, and I'm like, man, we got like 4 minutes left here in this segment. We haven't even talked about the meat of this thing. So obviously, everybody knows the results by now. Eli Tomac, he swept the 3 main events. He got the big purse. He got the $1 million. He won the overall. But main event number 3, Tomac was in second. Savachi, his teammate, was in first. Savachi pulls over, lets Tomac go by, lets him win the $1 million. Chris, I don't agree with that. I think it sucks. I hate team orders in any kind of racing, especially when there's $1 million on the line. Like, I don't know, man. Take us through this. What are your thoughts on this whole thing?
You know, I'm with you. I hate team orders as well. But watching Tomac ride that 3rd main event, the guy was out for blood. He got pinballed a little bit at the whole shot, dropped back in the field. He was about 7th or 8th, had a bunch of guys to get by. Had to get past Malcolm Stewart, Vince Freezy, a lot of names. Was able to do that. I think he was closing in on Savachi. I'm not totally convinced that Tomac wouldn't have passed Savachi even if Joey hadn't moved over. I'm not totally convinced of that. And, you know, in this race where you've got $1 million on the line and you've got teammates and you've got one of them who is going to make that pass, I understand why people want to lower the risk, because it's either you walk out with $1 million or you walk out with, you know, none of that bonus money. And I can imagine that $1 million has got to make a big difference to a lot of people. Let's be real. Joey probably gets a cut for, you know, being the you know, the good guy on the team. I get it. It's, you know, I remember the same sort of thing happening with Ryan Dungey and Marvin Muscan, you know, in recent memory, and I know that Eli was not too stoked about that, so, it does come off a little hypocritical. I understand all that. It's one of those things that's tough because from a sporting standpoint, it lacks a little bit of integrity. From a human standpoint, you understand why people do it. It's tough. It's a tough thing to deal with that. I mean, we deal with it in F1 all the time.
Oh, yeah.
There are a few other series where you definitely see it quite a bit, and it always leaves a sour taste in everybody's mouth.
It's happened in off-road before. I remember there was at one point where Mark Stein and Dave Sykes, and I think it was like class stock full at the Baja 500 or Baja 1000. I think it was 1,000. Stein was the points leader, and there was somebody in second in the points and somebody in third. Anyways, his brother, they raced in the same class, pulled over literally 500 yards from the finish line, and his brother was 15 minutes behind him, let his brother go around him, get first, and then Sykes pulled into the like a few seconds later after his brother, and it allowed his brother to win the points championship. You know what I mean? And it was just like, I mean, it was blatant, but things like that happen in motorsport all the time. Like you said, it's just, we don't like it as fans, but it does happen, and I think it's just part of life. But we got to go to a short break. Always fun having you call in, Chris. Thank you. Thanks for all the hard work on the website. Definitely looking forward to the Straight Rhythm content that's to come here in the next week or two.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me as always, Jim, and looking forward to just pushing out more content. We got a big weekend coming ahead in Action Motorsports. Can't forget the U.S. Grand Prix. Can't forget the ARCA season finale and the Lucas Oil Off-Road finale. So there is a lot coming.
All right. Thanks, Chris, and we will be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty Radio Show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at MotoShieldPro.com. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports. Beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems, KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'd like to welcome my next guest to the line, Mr. Christian Sourapas, big winner on the weekend. Welcome to the show, Christian.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
Yeah, you know what? I've known your dad for years. I mean, I've seen you and your brother race. I got to say, I think this is the first time I've actually had a Sourapas on air, so my apologies. I don't know. I probably could have interviewed your dad for years, but stoked to finally have one of you guys on the show with me. But big reason for it. You walked away with your first trophy truck win, or I should say trick truck win this weekend, man. Take us through this weekend at Laughlin, because I know you won both days, kind of swept the weekend, and it's a brand new truck, man. How did everything go?
Yeah, it was a crazy weekend. So Robert Neil Mason did a fantastic job building this truck. It's taken a little over 5 months to get the truck done, so they actually cranked it out pretty quick.
Yeah, 5 months is really quick.
The original plan was to have my dad drive it and debut it, but he's been having some back issues. So when he drove it in testing the Tuesday before the race, he kind of hurt his back, and I was there on site and pretty much figured, hey, Christian, I don't think I can go. I'm going to have you get some miles in it and ride along with Ricky Johnson, who drives the Team C truck, and see if he can handle it. So 20 miles later, made the decision to throw me in the thing and showed up to qualified third with hardly any time in it. Just wanted to set a really nice, smooth lap and not really do anything too crazy. So I got beat by Brandon Arthur and Jason Voss, two super fast guys, but made our way quickly to the front on race day and never really looked back. It was pretty flawless.
Well, and it's funny because I had Ricky Johnson on the show last week, and he was telling me he was going out to test with you and your dad on a brand new truck. And I'm like, oh, and I didn't expect it to show up to Laughlin. It shows up to Laughlin, you guys win. Literally, you guys had, 30, 40 miles on it tops, right?
Oh, yeah, yep. I think it was about 50, but Ricky Johnson was really breaking it in for 30 of it, and I drove the other 20.
Wow, that's crazy, man. Well, and, talk us through this new all-wheel drive truck, because I know this is kind of, I know Andy's got an all-wheel drive truck. Obviously, I think Matney does with the RPM guys. There's a few of them that have kind of started cycling into trophy truck, and I feel like they're going to start taking over here pretty quick. But, I mean, you're a guy that's done a ton of stuff in two-wheel drives. What's the difference in this truck? Because, I mean, I know coming out of the corners they're quicker. I've driven all-wheel drive rally cars, but, I mean, take us through this and how you've had to adjust to this new all-wheel drive truck and where the advantages are.
Well, first, the difference is a lot more money.
Right.
So, but from a driving standpoint, it just absolutely shoots out of the corner. Believe it or not, what I've been telling people is I drove pretty much 80% the entire weekend. I didn't have to, drive it on the edge, where two-wheel drive, you could see Voss. People were telling me that Voss was driving like an absolute maniac out there trying to keep up with me. And I was just focusing on hitting my lines and saving the equipment. And that's really what it takes in a four-wheel drive is you don't have to go out there and run full kill the entire time, because the truck has so much power and it's so forgiving that you don't have to go out there and run full wood to run just as fast as the two-wheel drive truck. So I knew right where Voss was the entire weekend, and I knew that in order for him to beat me, he would have had to have passed me, and we didn't really have much of an issue staying ahead of him because that Dugan's racing engine was absolutely screaming the whole weekend.
Yeah. Well, and I know with Laughlin, it's an interesting race because everybody thinks it's so short and it's going to be easy, but the attrition's always super high there. And I mean, especially it's almost worse when you're the leader going into day two. When you're chasing the guy, you got to run 100%. But when you're the leader, it's like you got to almost control the pace of the race. You got to be ahead of the guy behind you. I don't know. I mean, how did that play going into day number two? Because, I mean, I feel like at Laughlin, sometimes a disadvantage to be that top guy going into day two.
Well, sure. That's a fair point. That was actually the first time I've ever been, first on the road. So it was a learning experience for sure. When you got guys like Jason Voss, Justin Lofton, obviously my brother Brett, kind of breathing down your neck. But my co-driver, who actually helped build the truck, Neil, kept me really calm and just had me focus on what I need to do. And I think it really played into our favor. I kind of like being up front, to be completely honest with you, because I like being in control, and I don't like thinking about what other people are doing. So I knew I was getting time splits every pit of where everybody was, and it was pretty consistent. Especially on Sunday, I started pulling away. So whenever I would just adjust to how the time splits were. So as I was pulling away, I'd kind of slow down my driving a little bit, just so I don't have to kill the truck.
Yeah. Well, and talking about that, I mean, this is your first big win in trophy truck, but I know you've got a lot of wins in 6100. I mean, how was that transition from 6100 to trophy truck? And I know you're driving with a Herps as well. I mean, how did that all get put together with the Herps program and you?
Well, when Brett and I were winning a lot in 6100, we had a lot of success in our Mason Motorsports Pacifico truck. And a bunch of builders were talking to us because they knew that we were going to get into trophy truck soon. And the Herps were to approach us because they were going to design their new generation trophy truck. And we hadn't done business with the Herps in the past, but we've always had a huge amount of respect for them. And when Mike Smith and Troy called us and wanted to get us on their program, I mean, it was a humbling and honorable experience just to be able to team up with a team like Terrible Herps. So we had full faith in them, built a truck, which is now the Coors Light 88 truck that Brett's really been racing predominantly. And that truck is awesome. That truck is one of the best two-wheel drive trucks out there for sure. We've had a lot of luck with it. Unfortunately, we haven't had the best luck with it the past two races, but that's nothing. It's not really the Herps' fault. It's just,
things
luck's
happen.
not on your side every single race.
Yeah, things happen in the desert, and I know, and I'm sure your dad can attest to this, but it's crazy how the sport's evolved. I mean, it used to be in trophy truck, you just finish and you were almost guaranteed a podium, and we're talking 10, 15 years ago. Now, these are races being separated by seconds, and pit stops come into play, and it's wild, man. And like you said, I mean, you got to have a lot of luck on your side to win a trophy truck race in this day and age.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I went off on a tangent, the real difference between 6100 and trophy truck is the eliteness of the drivers in trophy truck. Not to take away from 6100, but I feel like Brett and I would consider Brett and I A-level 6100 drivers, and see how long it took just one of us to win in trophy truck, almost 2 years. So it's super hard to win in trophy truck. You got guys that weren't at this race that would have been a force to reckon with. Like all the McMillan boys weren't at Laughlin. Rob McCachran wasn't at Laughlin. Robbie Gordon wasn't at Laughlin. Just all big name drivers like that. That's why I like races like the Ball 1000 and the Mitt, where I'm not trying to take away the win for myself. Like I'm totally stoked that I got my first win, but I'll be even more stoked when I can say that I beat all the best drivers on the same track.
Yeah. Well, that leads us to the next race, the Baja 1000, the big one. Obviously, your dad knows how to win at Baja. I mean, what are the plans for the 1000? I don't know. Are you racing with a Herps? Are you racing one of your guys' trucks? What's the plans for the 1000 and you guys?
So the plan for the 1000 is for my brother and I to team up with Troy Herps and the Monster Energy Terrible Herps number 51 truck. The plan is for me to do the start. Troy will get in and do the middle half, and Brett will bring her home to the finish. And I'm really excited about this race because it's going to be my first ever Baja 1000. My first time racing in Baja was actually the 500 this year. So to be able to do the 1000 is an extremely, extremely humbling experience, especially to do it with a guy like Troy Herps and my brother. So I feel like we got a good team set up this year, and I think we'll definitely be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I definitely think so as well. I mean, and Herps, they've got amazing pit support and everything else. I think you guys are definitely, setting yourself.
Essential.
Yeah, you guys are in a really good position. So is Troy going to qualify the truck there in Vegas at SEMA?
Nope, that's going to be me.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
going to be qualifying it. So definitely excited for that. I'm very happy that Troy trusts me to put the truck in a good spot. Brett, unfortunately, crashed last year and ended up having to start in the back. So my whole goal is to just get that thing around, and whatever happens, but just a clean lap, and anywhere in the top 15 is totally manageable.
Yeah, well, especially with Vaughn, I'm looking at this 1,000 layout, and it's the loop 1,000, but man, this is a pretty brutal and long loop. I mean, we've seen loops that were only 700 miles. This one's in the 8s, and I'm just looking at the track and the layout, going, man, this thing it's going to be a war out there, and it's a really long loop race. So I think being in the top 15 you guys are set up. That being said, I do want to go back because I was going to intro you, and I'm like, we'll drop this later on. But I've never had a chance to talk to you about this. But I know, on your Instagram, you call yourself El Matador. And I know one of the things that put you on the map, and I hate to say it, was when you clipped those cows here in Parker, man. I just played back the YouTube video, and I was like, holy crap, you want to talk about a gnarly experience that was. But man, I was like, I got to bring that up and ask him about it, because that had to have been just a scary, scary moment.
Oh, yeah. Well, I give Troy Herbst the nickname credit. He actually, when I got dropped off at the hospital, one of the first things he said, "How are you doing, El Matador?" And it sort of just stuck with me. But referring back, that was the first time I've actually ever had a crash. So, I mean, what a way to crash. You're going 100, 112 down a road that I've been through over 10 times. I know that road at the back of my hand, and I was catching the leaders, and I saw 2 cows on the side of the road, and I was like, oh, this is kind of sketchy. They're pretty close. Then they crossed the road, and I was like, this isn't going to end well. So I had really no time to react, just plowed right through them, and the steering went out right away and just went along for the ride. Luckily, me and my co-driver, John Tondro, were completely fine, no concussions, no broken bones. And at the end of the day, that just shows it's a true testament to how strong those Herb Smith fabrication trucks are and how seriously they take safety. And not only can they make the trucks go super fast, but they make one safe machine.
Yeah, and that's one of the scariest things. A lot of crashes, guys don't expect them. It's like a fluke deal. Like that, you saw the cows and you were on the brakes, and it wasn't your fault at all, and that's the thing about this crash. Like, you saw it coming. A lot of guys, they're in the dust and they hit a whoop and, go end over end. It was like one of those you weren't expecting. This one, like, that's what makes it even scarier is you saw it coming and you kind of were able to prepare for it, and stuff starts going through your mind when that's happening.
Yeah, I felt like the crash was about like 8 or 9 seconds, but I don't know if you've crashed before, but every crash, I guess, feels like it's like 20 hours long.
Yeah, right.
Like, I just felt like I just kept tumbling, and I honestly was worried for my life because I didn't know when we were going to stop crashing. I didn't know how hard we were crashing. I didn't know if one hit was going to be my last, So when we stopped crashing, I was completely fine. I hopped out of the truck and realized we were right in the middle of the course with super hungry 800 horsepower, 6,000-pound trophy truck coming screaming down the road straight towards us. So I yelled at my co-driver, John, to get out of the truck. And conveniently, it was actually my brother who was the first truck on the scene. And he actually almost came to a dead stop just to make sure that we were okay. And that honestly meant a lot to me. That was a really special moment because I knew that if something would have happened to me, I knew that my brother would have stopped for me and got out and made sure that I was all okay. And he actually ended up getting second. So I think a little bit of good karma was on his side after that.
Yeah, definitely some good karma. So before we let you go, man, I know it's funny because we're doing this interview, and I know you're in between juggling classes right now. And how does that all work? I mean, here you are, you're running in trophy truck at an elite level. You just win Laughlin. You're running with a Herbst and Baja. Meanwhile, you're juggling a college education, man. How do you manage it all?
Well, I ran track and field for the University of Oregon and most recently, the University of Southern California. So time management has always been something that I've been pretty good at just because it's sort of baptism by fire. It's either if you don't have good time management, you're kind of going to struggle. So, I mean, it may seem like I race a lot, but I don't nearly race as much as it may seem like on social media, where I'm used to having, 4 to 5 hours just dedicated to a sport on top of a full college course load. So not doing track anymore is definitely a relief for me. I feel like I have more time to focus on my studies, and at the same time, flip side, I get to race a little bit more. So I think it's all worked out. I'm happy with how my life's going in the direction it's going so far.
Yeah, well, it definitely worked out for you. A big win at Laughlin. Looking forward to watching you guys do battle there at the Baja 1000. And, good luck in qualifying, my friend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And that was your Laughlin Desert Classic overall trick truck winner, Christian Sourapas. And we will be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire. General Tire's Grabber X3 mud terrain tire offers aggressive styling and is engineered for durability with innovative performance features that are ready to carry you through extreme mud, dirt, and rock-covered terrain. For extreme traction that's ready for anything and rugged styling to match, look no further than the Grabber X3 from General Tire. Make your anywhere possible by visiting GeneralTire.com today. General Tire, aggressive styling with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for, no fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners and for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island, the best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Just wrapping up hour number 1. Big thanks to Christian Sourapas for calling in and his whole family. You want to talk about just class acts and great people who've done a lot for the off-road industry. And like I said, his dad is just a complete badass behind the wheel. What he did in Class 1 and Class 10, just absolutely amazing. I think he's got some pretty big victories in Trophy Truck as well. So, always fun catching up with he's one of the, I guess a legacy, an off-road legacy. I don't know, McMillan's, Sourapas, there's generations there. Obviously, my family, there's generations. The Lettners, there's generations. I mean, so what I love about the sport of off-road is just the generations that you get, throughout the years and, and coming up. And that's one thing I love about our sport. But before we go to break, I do want to mention, if you're not already, check out our website, downanddirtyshow.com. Tons of motorsports content. We break news. We've got features on all kinds of stuff. I mean, drivers, events that are coming up, you name it. We've got it locked in there at downanddirtyshow.com. Make sure and check this podcast out on iTunes. Subscribe to that. Leave a rating or review. My other show, Project Action, check that out as well. Complete different guests, different format than this one. But you're going to have to subscribe to that feed separately. We've got some amazing guests coming up, and that we've just got done doing interviews with Travis Pastrana, Sean Whalen. We had Natalie Eva Marie coming up. We've got Eddie Braun. We got Victoria Arlen from ESPN. Just some amazing guests over there. And it's different. It's more long-form interviews than you get here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show. So check that out. Subscribe to both podcasts. And when you subscribe, leave a rating or review. If you leave a rating or review, leave your Twitter, Instagram at username in the body of the review, and I'll see it, and I will follow you back on social media. All right, we're going to take a short break. We come back, hour number 2 here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at MotoShieldPro.com.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Kicking off hour number 2, we got Vaughn Gittin Jr. calling in here in just a few minutes. Looking forward to catching up with our Formula D winner, who also does some Ultra 4 racing. Before we get to that, we are going to chat about our General Tire off-road results for this weekend for Best in the Desert. And they're at Laughlin coming out on top. It was Christian Sourapas overall finishing first, Tracy Groff second, Ryan Pullman, Steve Ologist, and Tony Smiley finishing out in the top 5 spots there in Trick Truck. Looking at Class 1500, it was Bill Wingerming, Mike Baldy, Bob Lofton, Levi Rockhill, good friend of mine, and Sam Barry finishing up in the top 5 overall after 2 days of racing. 6100, another one of the big classes. It was Ryan Hancock, Andrew Whitehead, Terry Householder, Blade Hildebrand. Great run by him. Another good kid, and Nick Mills. Definitely be looking for Blade Hildebrand. That kid is he's definitely one of the futures of our sport. Looking at the UTV night race that happened early on in the weekend. It was on Thursday night. It was Robert Van Beekum, Macy Pullman, and Seth Quintero in the top 3. Gunnar Savage, Caden Wells round out your top 5. And Seth Quintero, this kid he's almost there getting a victory. He's on the podium. He's right around it. I think sometime in the next 6 months, we're going to see Seth Quintero with his first victory in Class 1900. Looking at UTV Turbo, it was Phil Blurton, Justin Lambert, Brandon Sims, 1, 2, and 3. Unlimited, the win went to Brett Comiskey, finishing there in the first spot. And those Unlimiteds, man, they're sneaking in with the turbos. They're getting quicker and quicker. Really, really cool to see that. So, that was your Laughlin Desert Classic results, brought to you by our good friends at General Tire, reminding you that anywhere is possible. All full results are up at Best in the Desert's website, bitd.com, or you can check out our website for some write-ups as well as UTV Underground. But we are going to take a short break, and when we come back from this commercial break, it is going to be the man, the myth, the legend, Vaughn Gittin Jr. on the line right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show. We're going to be talking about his big Formula Drift win, big SEMA convention coming up, as well as his Ultra 4 race this coming weekend. So a whole lot more to come here in hour number 2 on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Anywhere is possible. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire's wide variety of tires for whatever it is that you drive. Whether you're looking for off-road capability balanced with impressive on-road performance or ultra-high performance offering all-season traction designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has what you need to get where you're going. General Tire, providing anywhere is possible with the Down and Dirty radio show since 2012.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for, no fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners and for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island, the best ride this side of the Rockies, adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, joined on the line by my good friend Vaughn Gittin Jr. How's everything going, my man?
What is happening, man? Everything is going, going wonderful. We just wrapped up the final fight at Irwindale and came up on top. My voice is a bit hoarse from screaming with my team, and feeling exactly how you want to feel after fighting hard and earning the win.
Yeah, the fun haver had absolutely no fun after that victory. I guarantee it. Right? It was just all mellow, low key, like no partying, just everybody like, all right, let's go back to the hotel, right?
Oh, we like to work hard and play hard, man, yeah. And we worked really hard, and, you got to match that, right? It's all balanced, so we had to play a bit hard.
Yeah. Well, that being said, dude, I mean, winning at Irwindale, the House of Drift, and, obviously I'm a fan of Formula Drift. I've never actually, been a professional drifter, but I got to think, like, winning at Irwindale, every off-road's got Crandon, right, or King of the Hammers, Mint 400, Baja 1000, you got Daytona 500, Indy 500. I got to think, like, winning at Irwindale, that's kind of like one of the big ones you want to win, right?
Yeah, especially, the season finale. I mean, Irwindale was a House of Drift. Everyone has been saying this was the best event that Formula Drift has ever had, just for a number of reasons, including the tough battles. But, yeah, everybody brings it. You don't have to hope your car makes it out alive and, you get to the next round. It's, we got between now and April before it's go time again. So this is just what brings out the best in everybody. And for us, it was a really big statement. And, we've had one of the roughest seasons that we've ever had. I think I still, even winning the finals, I finished 13th, and just some really, roller coaster season, and to finish it out on top like this is just, I'm extremely proud of my team. It's just one of those fairy tale stories that is a result of never giving up, and having that passion and commitment and drive to make the changes and make sure that, that you can be successful and to pull it off. Yeah. It's a great thing, obviously for the team, most importantly on my end, and obviously for me, it's always fulfilling and great to win.
Yeah, well, and, that being said, like you said, you had a rough season, but this has got to get you guys just energized. You win the last event of the year, the biggest event of the year, heading into the off season. I mean, sponsors are stoked. You know what I mean? It's got you guys stoked. I mean, this has got to, I know, like you said, you probably lack some momentum at certain times this year, but this momentum heading into the off season, this has to have you guys energized for 2019.
Yeah, you can't motivate a team any more than pulling this off, and not that my guys aren't the most motivated out there, but it just feels good. Everyone can sleep easy and believe in what we're doing, and we have some great plans for next year and progression of our Mustangs, and it's just great all around. It's it's been really something really, really humbling about the trip to the bottom, before, what I knew would be our ultimate rise back to the top. And, I've been on top in this sport for a really long time, battling for a championship year after year. And it was actually a lot of fun and just a cool, different perspective, which changed approach and created a bunch of change inside of the team, having some big failures and not having and embrace and enjoying that success. So it was actually a really positive thing, I think, overall for myself and the team. And, we know both sides of it. We know where we want to be, and we know what it takes to be there. And so we're going to keep fighting for it. And yeah, I'm definitely pumped. Looking forward to Formula Drift 2019. And, this weekend coming up, Ultra 4 Nationals. And I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk Ultra 4 here in a minute, but I got to ask you, talking about the team dynamic and things like that, you've gone through this, and I know just in the past couple of years, you've seen the sport go from, its infancy and garage builds to full-on engineers with teams. I know a couple of years ago, you guys, you'd had developed an all-new car, so there was a switch there. Then you guys expanded to 2 cars. How has that been? Because, there for a while, you had everybody just concentrating on your car. Then as things grow, you want to see them grow. You guys go to 2 cars. How did that change the dynamic as well? Because not only, is your team now worrying about you, there's this other car, and both of you guys are capable of taking victories. How did that change the whole team dynamic as well?
Yeah, it's been the progression of the RTR team has been pretty dynamic, and it's been a challenge and a lot of fun, and I'm all about fun. And as far as, bringing Chelsea Denofa, my teammate, on, Chelsea is a phenomenal driver and someone that I believe greatly in. In fact, we had an epic battle in the semifinals at Irwindale, and he went a little bit too hard and got into me and effectively handed over the win. But it was super heated, like every battle we have. And the cool thing about the 2 cars is, we have 2 identical cars, 2 different drivers that like different setups, but we're learning off of each other. And, I have one perspective of the way that I do things and my approach to things, and he has another perspective of, the way he does things. So, if you're open-minded, like I like to think that I am, you can really learn a lot from other people. And, he's been a very good addition to the team, not only, commercially being able to expand and work with other people, but also, performance-wise. He ran his own team since day one, and, he's got a lot of great ideas, and some of them we integrated and have been successful, really, really worked out for us. So it's a lot of fun. For me, I really enjoy that. He's a bit younger than me and not as experienced in a lot of things. So I've been enjoying, sharing my experience with him and helping him get to the next level with some of the things he is and, some of the things he needs. And, he's been pushing and progressing me a bit on the track, which has been fun. I've been doing this for 15 years, and the one cool thing about this sport is the constant progression and the constant challenge and change. And that's why, I was thinking the other day, what else have I done for 15 years, So it's, it needs to be that. It needs to be fulfilling and challenging, and it truly is. And that's why I love it so much.
Yeah, well, and I'm sure you're a bit like me. Like, if it's not a challenge, like, I'm just kind of over it, right? Like, I have to be challenged, and I don't want to, just about every day, there's got to be some kind of new challenge, some kind of new goal, and, and like you said, if it's not a challenge and it's not progressing at some point, like, I know people like you and I, we kind of get bored with it, but it's like you said, 15 years with Formula D, and, I mean, it's a war. It was a war at the start. It's a war now, it's, as good as you've got, everybody else has got that much better as well,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's just one of those things, man. It's just a lot of people see from the outside, see some material things and things that are earned as a result of doing these type of professional motorsports or this type of business. And at the core of it, though, like, no money, no material things can make you put yourself through the things that you have to go through to be at this level, right? It all stems from the core of passion and the just want to be in it and the challenge and that fulfillment doesn't come from anything other than challenge and being pushed to be your best self, and that's what one thing about drifting that has been special to me for the last 15 years. It's really pushed me to be my best on a lot of levels. So. Yeah. Plan is to keep doing that.
All right, we're going to have to put a pause on things here with my man Vaughn Gittin Jr., but we're going to have more with him. We're going to talk some Ultra 4 racing, some more on Formula D, and what's in store in the future for the professional fun haver. All that and more when we return here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RZRLife to share your story. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Whether you're looking for a tire that balances high-performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in wet and dry conditions, or a summer performance tire designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the all-new G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, cruising with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at MotoShieldPro.com.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, catching up with Vaughn Gittin Jr., who is still hanging out on the line. We've got to move things along here, though. So, well, in talking about new challenges, I know you and I don't know, I'm trying to think back how many interviews we've done at this point. I mean, it's well into the double digits at this point, I think. But, I mean, I know a couple years ago you really were looking for a challenge in off-road. In came Ultra 4, and I've kind of seen this roller coaster ride you've had with that. I know you talked about having Ultra 4 Nationals coming up. I know off-air before we talk, we were already talking about King of the Hammers next year. I mean, how's this whole transition? I don't want to say transition because you're still very much a part of Formula D and that's not going anywhere, but how is this new passion of yours, Ultra 4? I mean, how has this thing progressed? Because I know at the start, like you had said, you had no idea what you were getting into the first time you showed up at Hammertown.
Yeah, no, I've this year was my first slightly complete year. We're currently the East Coast points champions in the 4,500 class, and next year I'm planning on going to 4,400. I always had plans to get in and learn in a lesser class that was still super competitive, and then step it up, and that plan has been working. And it's an incredible sport. And again, to go back to the challenge and fulfillment, it is all that. And the thing I love about Ultra 4 is the amount of drive time. Compared to drifting, I'm there for a 3-day weekend, and if I'm lucky, I get 15 actual minutes of driving a car. And, whereas Ultra 4, you go out pre-run like most off-road, and then you have a couple-hour race, and it's super fun. My best friend's been my co-driver, and he's really come around. In fact, he had to sub in for a race for me in Kentucky, and he won it this year. And so it's just been it's been a great challenge. I mean, the thing going from drifting to Ultra 4 has been really, drifting is very conducive to what's needed in Ultra 4, right? The confidence to toss a vehicle around, the confidence to be precise and position the vehicle exactly where it needs to be to get through obstacles, and then the patience and the grip feel to get through the rocks clean, and carry that momentum. And it just all really translates. And for me, I'm very grateful to have, the Jimmy's 4x4 team and guys like Lauren Healy and Nick Nelson, who have really help show me the ropes and just give me some advices to get me up to speed on the the physical side of driving in that space. And I've applied my approach to marketing and the commercial side to this world, just as I have done in drifting, and it's starting to get pretty successful, and everyone's happy. So I really enjoy it, and I think my wife and I are pregnant, and this is a sport that I feel is very conducive to a family. And the places we go have a lot of other fun things to do. You come a day early or stay a couple days late and go out with the family on UTVs or whatever you have to have some fun. So I'm definitely excited about it, and I think Ultra 4 has a great future ahead of it.
Yeah, well, and I definitely agree with you. And I see what Dave Cole and Ultra 4 has done every single year. It's like they just continue to keep up in the game and up in the game and up in the game. And and we've seen that in Formula D too with what Sage and the boys over there have done. It's like I think you definitely want to be a part of sports that you see that are on the upswing. And I think you've been a big part of the Formula D growth. But I think Ultra 4, you're seeing that curve there, and it's always fun to ride the wave, and be on it as it goes up. And I think that's definitely what you're doing with Ultra 4, just like you did with Formula D.
Yeah, everything is all about seeing opportunity and strategizing and seeing how you can be a part of it and not only take from it but help with it. And I like the approach Dave has with what he's doing with the series. His live stream and is very smart the way he's doing it, and it's very engaging content to watch. And for me, we should all make no qualms that content is king, and will continue to be. And that, excuse me, driving. The driving is the reward for producing the good content and creating the good media. So, I think Ultra 4 offers that. And, it is, like you said, I was in the first wave of drifting, and this isn't the first wave of Ultra 4, but, it is still very early days for them. And, I hope to be able to continue working in that space. And I just love off-road. It's really, truly who I am to my core, racing motocross and, as a teenager. And, I just love being out there in nature. And, it's such a good challenge, and it's just fun. It's free, and I enjoy that.
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking with Street Bike Tommy the other day, and I know he's a good friend of yours, a good friend of mine. It actually came up when you were his coach out there, his off-road coach, to try and beat Pastrana out there at Pastrana Land. I think you and Ken were out there with him, and it just came up, and I'm like, I don't know why it's coming into my mind right now, but I'm like, you truly are an off-road guy. It's like, shoot, you're even good enough to coach Street Bike Tommy, right?
Yeah, that was wild. Tommy has a habit of making bets with people that are experts in their space. In fact, I think late night in Vegas last year at SEMA, he told me that with a couple weeks he would beat me in drifting. So, so I'm pretty sure that's probably how his bet with Travis came up at that time on the UTV. And he actually progressed and listened quite well, and he's actually gotten pretty fast. But yeah, I just love it. Like right now, my favorite thing to do is go out with the boys, and go out in West Virginia, Hatfield and McCoy trails, and just go mobbing UTVs. We go out for weekends or a couple of days and, rent a little double wide trailer in the holler and just enjoy that. That's one of my favorite things to do. And I think, those kind of things are so accessible to people. And that's one of the things about drifting that's been so cool is it's very accessible, right? You don't need a couple $100,000 race car. You can build a car in your garage and go have some fun. And, with the price of UTVs and the availability these days to go have fun with them, whether it's with your family or just your friends, I think it's such a cool thing. And, I just want people to have access to go and enjoy these things that I love so much because, I know how much fun they are and how it brings smiles to faces. And, that's what it's about. And I think the world needs a lot of smiles on faces right now.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And we got to talk, it's off season now for you kind of technically. I mean, Formula D season wraps up. Like you said, you don't have to be in action until April again. I mean, I know it's kind of a little bittersweet every year when Formula D wraps up, but you are one of those guys that are always busy. Obviously, we've got Ultra 4. I know, you're racing this weekend. Then we've got KOH into January, beginning of February. We got SEMA. I know, are we going to see you at SEMA at the out front thing again, drifting?
Yeah, I'll be at Ford Out Front all week, mornings around like noon, and then we do the last show of the day. We've got some cool stuff out there this year. We're going to be, my teammate and Chelsea Denofa and I are going to be having some fun, giving rides, and, so that's definitely up next on the radar. And then my wife and I are due to have our baby boy Gunner at the end of November. So, I'll be tied up for most of December, and then we hop in the LA Auto Show at the end of January, and boom, right to Hammers, and it all starts again. So, it's never ending, and it can't be. And I'm a pretty ambitious dude, and we've been working super hard on everything we do. We just got back from the Nürburgring doing a wild project there, and my RTR Vehicles company, is doing very well with the turnkey Mustangs, and our F-150s coming out first quarter next year. So always something to do. There's no rest when you're trying to make magic like this, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah. Well, and that being said, I know, what was it, like a year or so ago? You like to hop behind the wheel of anything. Like you said, professional fun haver. Did some road racing, right? And I think you did really, really well in that. Was it Trans Am I think you went and did?
It was Trans Am.
Yeah, anything like that on your radar to try and do? Because I think you did really well at that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did well. I finished fifth, which, for just hopping in is I think pretty commendable. No, I don't have anything. Right now my schedule is I'm getting pulled in a bunch of directions, and I'm just trying to focus on the things that I really enjoy and that bring the most value to my partners and the goals that we have collectively. And right now that's drifting and Ultra 4 and some special content projects. And my favorite things to do are go to enthusiast events and just have fun and get people in the passenger seat with me and just share experiences. So, we got Grid Life that we do, Hyperfest. We're doing the auto fairs with Pennzoil, and we're just just really focusing on those opportunities that make the most sense, big picture. So right now for me, while road racing is fun, to me, there's value, much better value other places, and there other places are also very fulfilling.
Yeah. Well, and here's a question before we let you go. We're going to circle back and talk a little bit of drifting again. But, coming off that win there at Irwindale, how do you guys approach this offseason? Because, everybody's, they're going back. They're looking at their program. They're going back to the drawing board. How can we improve? I mean, obviously you guys got it figured out at the end of this year. You're walking away with a victory. I mean, what do you do this offseason between now and April, to know that your program's at that level where you can compete for the championship next year?
Sure. Yeah, we've had a plan in place since about middle of this year. What the plan was during the off season, and it's all the racers listening are going to kind of laugh, right? more, right? So we want some. Actually, more or less more, right? We want a little bit more power. We want a little bit less weight and a little bit more grip in the car. So. We're talking to the magicians over at Nitto Tire, and we're working on some power adders with Ford Performance and Roush Yates, and lightweighting is pretty simple. We just need to switch some materials out. There's a lot of lightweight battery technology there now. Titanium is getting pretty readily available in the type of materials that we need to change some things out. So we plan on dropping 150, 200 pounds and, adding, between 100 and 200-ish horsepower. And we should be right where we need to be, a couple of suspension modifications, and we'll be ready to rock come Long Beach.
Nice. Well, definitely looking forward to that. Looking forward to watching you in action this weekend with Ultra 4, man. Congrats again on the big W there at the House of Drift to cap off 2018, and I think we'll see you at SEMA.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate it. Always great talking with you, man. Keep up the good work. You guys are really awesome. Really enjoy the show.
Always fun catching them on my man, Vaughn Gittin Jr. We're going to take a short break, and we got a ton of news to get to in the next segment. Make sure and hit me up on Twitter at JimBeaver15 if you got questions, and we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports. The sound at the racetrack. And the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Just put it out into the world. If you got any questions you want answered on air in this next segment, reply here. I put that on Twitter. Hit me up at JimBeaver15 or, I don't know, tag me on some form of social media. We will try and get them into the show. Before we get to questions and talking, we got some GRC news, NHRA, SEMA, Formula D. We got a ton to get in this next 14-minute segment. But don't forget our good friends over there at GoParts.com. If you're looking for auto parts, you need to go to go-parts.com. They've been around for more than a decade. It's so easy. You just go online. You can shop by your year, make, model of car, and a couple days later, boom, auto parts at your door. Saves you going to the store. Prices are on point. You guys can't do any better than GoParts.com. It's go-parts.com. That's go-parts.com. Check them out. You'll be glad you did. GoParts.com. This is why we wrench. And put it out into the world. And when you put things out into the world, you never know what's going to come back. So I got my good friend over there at Performance Media, Amanda, and so she's telling me that I posted something up on Instagram in the stories, a picture of me with a headset on, right? Well, a year ago, my good friend Jim Riley, he's got the Answers Yes podcast. I actually guest hosted his and interviewed him last week. You should check it out. I actually produced that podcast as well. My podcast production company does. We do a lot of stuff you guys don't even know about. But his podcast I guest hosted, but he used to formerly own Azuña Tequila. He sent me a gift package, and it's got like all 4 of their tequilas, all the stuff from like their quote-unquote well tequila to the Azuña Black that's like hand-labeled, hand-signed by the guy that bottles it. I've still got them in my office as well as my Mint 400 Moonshine. I got a bunch of stuff in my office. Like I've got skulls and cryptexes and like, I don't know. It's my office/studio, right, where I do this national show. So she sees it and on the thing, and she's listening to the show, and she goes, "So, is this how you get through shows? Large amounts of booze?" And she says, "Got an idea." She goes, "You should drink the booze and then watch the viral videos like I do with Casey Curious and Ken Blocks and stuff like that." She's like, it would make it really, really interesting to listen to. So the truth is that it'd make it amazing, and it's actually a good idea. There's been a lot of podcasts where people kind of have a few drinks and get buzzed and then watch videos and stuff. I'm not opposed to it. I think we would have to do that as an online-only edition. I think this one that goes out to all these networks and the American Forces Network. Now, while our military would probably really enjoy it, I don't think that the FCC would approve of the language and the stuff we would talk about. So it would have to only be strictly a podcast. So I'm down for the idea. Maybe we need to, I don't know. I know Ken Block's got his new Gymkhana series on Amazon Prime. Maybe we need to make a whole podcast about this Gymkhana series on Amazon Prime. Get some people together. We'll mic us up. We'll have some drinks, and we'll watch Gymkhana and do the commentary on it. That could be fun. I am rolling with the ideas today. Like, seriously, I think that one is actually doable. We were already talking about reviewing each Gymkhana on our website. Chris was talking about that. So maybe I need to get 2 or 3 people mic'd up, and we can do it via Skype, watch Gymkhana together, and have some drinks. And I think it would be absolutely hilarious. So I don't know. If you guys are into this, hit me up on social media, DM me, tag me, whatever. I want to know because I am down to make stuff like that happen, man. We're thinking out of the box today. So I'm just saying it's good stuff. So all right. Thank you for the idea there. We will see if we can make this happen. So, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Speaking of Ken Block, he is actually in Spain right now, España, for World Rally Championship. So, Ken Block going back to the stage rally. He's got Alex Gelsomino there. They are going to be in an M Sport car running World WRC Spain. Definitely looking forward to seeing that. Anytime, Ken's had some really good success in the World Rally Championship. And I can't remember off the top of my head if he's done Spain before or not. I know he really loves Mexico. Well, obviously he's done Spain before. He did a couple of full years there when they were the Monster Energy World Rally team. So, yeah, of course he's done Spain. So it should be interesting to see how that all shakes out for those boys. But yeah, that is happening. Ken is at Spain, and that was one that just kind of popped up. So looking forward to that. I know we've got the U.S. Grand Prix. We don't talk a lot of F1 on the show, mainly because my listeners could give 2 hoots about it. Once in a while there's a big storyline or something, we do talk about it. I'm excited about USGP. One, I like COTA. I think it's an amazing facility. But 2, it's like Formula One comes to the United States, right? So I'm going to tune into that. And then, Fernando Alonso, I love how Americans kind of adopt different nationalities. But like, no, you're actually one of us. Fernando Alonso, when he came into the Indy 500, that made him an American, right? So now Americans can root for him. Like, he's come to America. We will embrace Mr. Alonso. I think that has happened with Fernando. Same thing seriously happened years ago with Juan Montoya. He did his time here in the United States in Champ Car, and then he goes to Formula One. So then it doesn't matter that he's Colombian. No, Montoya, he's an American, and he lives in Miami. Doesn't matter where he was born. We grasped onto Montoya and said, no, we've got an American driver in Formula One. I don't know why this happens. Is it because we just have a complete lack of American drivers in Formula One? Alexander Rossi excluded. He was there for a little bit. Now he's come home, and he's absolutely destroying the IndyCar field. He's become a good friend of mine, and I'm always stoked on that. And Scott Speed, another American that went over there. But, by and large, we go through these massive gaps without an American. And I know Haas, Formula One, I think they've struggled with this. They're like, we're an American team in Formula One, and the Americans haven't backed us. What's the deal? We are an American team. How come people aren't tuning in? You're an American team, and you don't have an American driver. That's the problem, Haas. Like, seriously, you guys came from NASCAR. You should know this. Get an American driver on your team in F1, and everybody in the United States will instantly be Formula One fans and tune in every year. And the cool thing about Haas is their team's halfway decent. They're not a full-on backmarker. Like, seriously, get an American driver. You want to talk about the marketability of your team? Like, you're an American Formula One team with no American driver. We're not going to tune in. I don't care if it's an American team owner. You guys are based out of the UK. You have to get an American driver. Can you imagine if an American Formula One team had an American driver and they came to the U.S. Grand Prix there at COTA? You know how big of a deal that would be? And they would be on every television set, every newspaper. That driver would be an absolute superhero to the United States for 1 week. It goes away on Monday after the event, but I'm just saying, like, that dude would be like superstar. Like, I can't believe Haas has miserably failed at marketing so bad. Like, seriously, don't tell me there's not an American driver that couldn't compete in over there. Like, seriously, you cannot tell me that, because I can give you a list of American drivers that are as good as some of these backmarker Formula One guys. Like, seriously, I can go down the list. I mean, Let's look at IndyCar. Graham Rahal, obviously he's not going to go, but Marco Andretti, he's another one. Rossi, obviously he's not going to go, but these are Americans that could compete in F1. Those three guys, absolutely. You look at a guy like Colin Braun, we've had him as a guest on here, shredding IMSA. That dude could compete. You want to talk about a New Zealander who, even the Formula One guys recognize him as one of the greatest race car drivers on the planet. They just made a movie about the guy. That's Scott Dixon. I'm just going down the list. Ryan Hunter-Reay, obviously he's a little bit older now, and he's got his roots in IndyCar. But I'm just giving you guys that I think could compete on the global scale that is Formula One. We have failed at it, total failure. Well, I can't say we, but Haas. Like seriously, get with the program, Haas. Get an American driver. We will embrace it. So there's that going on. I got on a little rant there. NHRA, my boy Steve Torrence completely. You want to talk about a guy who's just dominating? Like literally, nobody has anything for Steve Torrence at this point. He has swept their playoffs. I don't even know what it's called at this point. I just call them the playoffs. Everybody can, put some fancy name on it. It's the playoffs. Steve Torrence, this dude is going to sweep it. He's going to sweep the whole thing. He's only got 2 rounds left, and he's doing it, right? He's got the 4 wides at Vegas, and then he's got the finales there at Pomona. This dude wants this championship so bad. He is on a mission right now, and I am really, really excited to see these last 2 rounds of NHRA. Ron Capps, he took a win there for DSR there in Funny Car. Jason Line, Matt Smith, Pro Stock and Pro Stock Motorcycle winners there in NHRA. Then moving on, obviously we talked about Monster Energy Cup. Tomac got the sweep there. Formula D, their Indy 500 was this past weekend. Irwindale, the House of Drift. This is where basically, drifting in the United States, formed, was Irwindale. This place is funny because Irwindale is definitely not an iconic venue, but for Formula D, it is the Indy 500. Round 8, in Irwindale, they're rumored to go away for a long time. I know I talked with Joey Mancari, used to be with GRC, now he's with Irwindale. He says they are here to stay, so definitely looking forward to more events at Irwindale, not only Formula D, but NASCAR's had their regional series there, and it's just it's a great facility. I know X Games has been there, GRC's run there in the past. But yeah, just looking at this, people are already calling it. Vaughn Gittin, obviously we had him as a guest. He won. Frederick Osbo got second. I think they did it one more time, and everybody's already saying that this was the greatest drifting battle in the history of Formula Drift. Now, we're well over 10 years worth of battles, and they are saying this is the greatest drift battle of all time, Vaughn Gittin Jr. and Frederick Osbo. It is up on YouTube. You should go and check this out. If it doesn't make you a fan of drifting, nothing will. 2 of the greatest of all time, Vaughn Gittin Jr. and Frederick Osbo, did battle at Irwindale, their Indy 500, and it was literally it was a breathtaking display of drifting. You got to watch it. Just saying, if that doesn't make you a fan of drift, nothing is. Then we've got GRC news, and this is where things get interesting. GRC are saying they went away. I'm telling you, no, they didn't. Well, they did, but they didn't. So we've got Global Rallycross Europe. I don't know why you would start a Global Rallycross Europe when you've got World Rallycross over there. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But they are having their kickoff in Vienna this weekend, actually here October 18th. So 2 days from now, if you're listening in national syndication, it passed. If you're listening live online, it's the 18th. They've got a couple of world-class drivers, Alex Wurz and our good friend Topi Heikkinen, or Tomas Heikkinen. He's been a guest on the show in the past. Did some years with GRC here, former GRC champ. But he's, kind of running World Rallycross full-time now. But they're having a big kickoff there. They're going to be talking about their new race vehicle, the GRC Titan. It's a Pantera RX-6 Rallycross car. Basically, it's going to have the same performance as a supercar that you know from GRC, but it's going to be 20% less cost. So I don't know. Should be interesting to see what happens. I'm not one to talk down on anybody that wants to start something and they think they've got a better, they've got a better design. I think, it all depends on the drivers they can get on board. They get the drivers, and the names, it's going to fly. If they struggle with it, I don't know. But I could see where this makes sense, especially with the cost escalating of stuff like, we saw in GRC here in the States, America's Rallycross, World RX. Like I could see a spec car, almost like the IndyCar model, you know what I mean, doing really, really well. It just, depends on how it packages and, what kind of media and marketing they put behind it and what drivers they get involved. So, yeah, we'll have more to talk about next week after this launch in Vienna this week. But GRC Europe, it's a real thing at this point. So definitely looking forward to seeing how that shakes out. So we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap things up here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Anywhere is possible. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire's wide variety of tires for whatever it is that you drive. Whether you're looking for off-road capability balanced with impressive on-road performance or ultra-high performance offering all-season traction designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has what you need to get where you're going. General Tire, providing anywhere is possible with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
All right, and we are back here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. And, wrapping up another one. Big shout-out to my boy Vaughn Gittin Jr. for calling into the show. Also a shout-out to Christian Sourapas, won on the win, his maiden trophy truck victory, but also for calling into the show. Big shout-out to them. Looking forward to them at the Baja 1000. Speaking of the Baja 1000, we do have qualifying for that coming up at SEMA. Also got that Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame induction ceremony I will be hosting. That coming up to kick off SEMA week as well. Got Camp Razor before that, but even sooner we've got Red Bull Straight Rhythm, the USGP for Formula One, Lucas Oil finale there in Phoenix. We got NHRA in both Vegas and in Pomona to cap off the NHRA season. Man, it's going to be a slam-packed couple of weeks, and this coming weekend is slam packed for you motorsports fans, like for sure. NHRA or not? Excuse me, not NHRA, but I don't know. We got a ton of racing going on. I'm not even going to give you the rundowns on the dates and stuff like that. If you're listening, you know. But thank you guys and thanks to Polaris Razor, General Tire, Subaru, Vision Wheel, Casey Lights, Gibson Exhaust, Dirtfish, Optimus, Moto Shield Pro, GoParts.com, Blue Water Resort and Casino. I am at Jim Beaver 15 on all forms of social media. Make sure and check out our Facebook group, and you can chat on that on Facebook. Lots of good content going on in there. All things motorsports and action sports. Also at Down and Dirty Show on Instagram. We've got a second Instagram account. Check out the website, downanddirtyshow.com. Make sure and check out my podcast, Project Action. Drops on Thursdays on the Podcast One Network. Subscribe on iTunes. Leave a rating or review. Same goes for the Down and Dirty Radio Show. If you leave that rating or review on either show, leave your Twitter, Instagram at username in the review. And if I see it, I will follow you back on social media. Also, check out dirtfish.com. You want to book some classes there, use a coupon code JBDirtfish, and it will get you 15% off any and all classes. Thank you guys for tuning in this week. Thanks for all the continued support of the show. We'll see you again next week and this Thursday on Project Action. Be safe. As always, game on.